Hey everybody, it's Mike Frieder here with On-Call Compliance Solutions, and I'm back with another compliance tip of the week. Today we're talking about CMMC and some major announcements from the DoD on timeline that were just made that you need to know about. So hey, if you're a defense contractor who's feeling overwhelmed, tired, and alone, trying to understand all of this DFARS, NIST SP 800-171, and CMMC compliance stuff, I've got great news for you. You found your home here at On-Call Compliance Solutions, where we can help you transform into your company's on-call compliance hero. That's what's up. So let's jump into it. A couple major announcements from the DoD on timeline that were just made and that you have to know about. Because again, obviously CMMC is finally coming to fruition here. And there's a lot of news that's sort of leaking out or spilling out, if you will. And this one is an interesting one. So in a recent article from Breaking Defense, Dave McCown, Deputy CIO for the DoD, has stated that CMMC 2.0 is on track. That's a good thing for us to start at the beginning of the next year, Q1 of 2025. He says, we are moving forward. We're hoping by the first quarter of calendar year 2025, we'll be able to start enforcing, right? Keyword enforcing this. And putting this in contracts as we go forward. We just keep plugging along because this has been discovered learning. Very interesting commentary. And they've got so many roadblocks that have popped up and so much resistance to this. But we feel this is super important, McCown said during the Potomac Officers Club Cyber Summit recently. So again, that's kind of like a local to Washington, D.C. thing. A couple key things to unpack there. Number one is they're acknowledging the roadblocks, right? The big sort of industry push to say, look, this is too expensive. It's not doable. The DoD is coming back and saying, no, it doesn't matter how expensive it is. It doesn't matter how quote unquote undoable it is. One, we have use cases where we've proven it's totally doable. And two, at the end of the day, national security is much more important than a couple dollars, and that's just the bottom line. That's how it has to be. You've got to be qualified. It's like any other certification, or professional credential to do work. And then of course, the big one, which is we're going to start enforcing this in basically Q1, right? January. So that's huge. It also sticks right along with the timeline where they're going to essentially roll this thing into law in roughly October, November of this year. So again, everything is sounding very consistent coming out of the DoD. Elsewhere in the article, there's some other really key information that I think is worth mentioning. The DoD CIO mentions that there are around 600 companies that are slated for CMMC Level 3 requirements. A relatively low number of companies that will have direct government oversight of their security and adherence to the 170 plus controls in CMMC Level 3. So to some extent, I think that low number is a very good thing for most of the 250 to 400,000 plus defense contractor companies and the million subcontractor companies this gets flowed down to, who will instead fall to a much more reasonable CMMC Level 2 requirement. Again, as we know, bifurcated or split between self-attestation at Level 2 and requiring a certified third-party assessor at Level 2. Again, a pretty good piece of information. I would imagine that if you're going to be required for CMMC Level 3, the reality is you already know about it and you probably already have DoD oversight with your security. That's going to be the people that actually, instead of once every 3 years getting recertified, you've got those folks in your office 3 times a year checking up on your security. Again, if you're a company that handles secret, top secret, you're probably already very aware that you're going to have these requirements. I would imagine 600 companies is not a lot for the government to directly reach out to. So next, his phrasing on the timing is really key. It continues to be the case that we anticipate CMMC Level 2 adherence will become law right around October. And if it's not October, for sure November, but we think it'll be October. Much like other DFARS laws relating information security have often been implemented in October or November. That puts us just a month or two away, honestly, maybe even a little bit less right now when you're watching this video, from this becoming very real and legally required. And the final big piece of information that we see being dropped from the CIO's presser is that as of October 1, 2026, this is huge. As of October 1, 2026, the Pentagon intends to include CMMC requirements in all applications according to the Federal Register. So what that means is all defense contracts are going to have CMMC level requirements and have flow down. This is huge. A final date where CMMC will be required on all defense contracts, and the reality is we are just 2 years away. I mean, let's be honest. In some cases, it can take larger companies 2+ years to get compliant. So while this might seem far away today, the reality is for those companies who have not taken this seriously, this is a major, major alarm bell for them. It's real, it's coming. I mean, that's all I can tell you, right? So I know we've been saying it for a long time, but the actual reality is the timeline has never even wavered, not even since the days of CMMC 1.0. It's always been about 2026 complete implementation. The final piece of that content is, however, waivers may be issued in select cases. Of course, the government always has to leave itself an out for very special cases, but I'll tell you that I don't see many, if any, people being able to avoid this requirement. Again, this is very much like in DFARS 7012. There's a phrase that goes something like, if the contracting officer, says it's okay to not comply with NIST SP 800-171, I got to tell you guys, in years of doing this, we've really run across little to none of anyone who's ever gotten that waiver. Again, it would put the contracting officer under pressure if something happens. Why did you make that waiver? It could cost him his job, and there's no real reason to waive that. I have to tell you, for me, taking a macro look at all of this, what I think is truly amazing is that effectively the government has delivered every aspect of CMMC on time. Yes, hiccups along the way, going from CMMC 1.0 to 2.0, but nonetheless, they are doing it. They are doing it on time, and I think for defense companies out there, you need to be careful because they are also stepping up enforcement rapidly. In fact, just this week, a $200 million settlement was just announced for RTX having violations of ITAR and potentially CUI leakage. All right, $200 million. And guys, that was with voluntary disclosures that they found that there were issues. I mean, I don't know about you, but maybe you're not a $500 billion company or whatever RTX is these days. But man, that would probably be pretty crippling, I would have to imagine. As a matter of fact, actually in the presser on that one, they said they literally put aside $1 billion to handle this issue. That's insanity. That's so much money that I mean, you could solve world hunger for that. Seriously. So look, at the end of the day, CMMC is at our doorstep. And if somehow your company is behind the ball, the good news is at OnCall, we've developed the world's fastest hands-on system for helping defense companies just like yours go from zero to compliant fast. In fact, really just a matter of days. So hey, at OnCall, we take defense contractors just like you who have had this DFARS, NIST, CMMC, ITAR, and EAR information security compliance stuff dropped into their laps like a seagull on a sunny day. And we teach you how to level up and be a proper OnCall compliance hero for your company, eliminating gaps, gray areas, and getting this solved, all while showing you how to leverage compliance as your secret weapon to land more defense work with higher profit margins. Now, that's what becoming an on-call compliance hero can do for you. If you're looking for more help getting compliant, our compliance experts are always on call for you. Visit cmmccompliancesecrets.com or check out the description below for links to get help right now. If you love the content we're putting out here for you, help us out with a big thumbs up on that like button, or even better, smash the subscribe button to get the latest compliance content as soon as our compliance nerds roll it out. Until the next compliance tip, my friends, stay safe and secure out there. Hit us in the comments below. Let us know what you'd like to know more about when it comes to information security and compliance. I'll see you on the next one.